Hello there, Sparkles. I know it's been a while. I apologize. I've had a lot going on. And sometimes coloring just gets put on the background or the back burner there. But this is such an important part of my life. I struggled with anxiety and depression, and I learned through therapy that coloring is a great way to overcome those things and ground yourself in the moment and distract your brain. And so coloring is a big part of my life, and I do it for relaxation. I just do coloring for me. It's just something that I do for me. So I've been doing other things and I want to get back to my coloring. So I have been coloring, but I thought it's time to put a video up on the channel. So here we are. So for today's video, as you can see, I have pretty much this whole page colored, and I just used, I'm going to show them to you. I used glittered gel pens. These are the pens that I used. These gel pens literally came from Five Below. I tried to keep my color palette pretty, I don't know what you want to call it. Pretty simple. Pinks, different shades of pinks, bronzes and greens. And I added a little bit of blue. So I just try to keep my palette really simple. But I got this whole set right here. Glitter, there's metallic and glitter pens in this set, and I paid $5 from it from Five Below. I just wanted to do something different with a different kind of medium. So I will hold the book up for you because I think you'll kind of see that shimmer. I have some metallic in there. Of course, I have the glitter pens in there. I think it looks pretty good. And then of course we have what the book is calling the Stag. And I should tell you what the book is. So this is Mystic Animals by Stratton Peterson. I got this book on sale at Barnes and Nobles last year sometime. So it's really pretty. The whole book is just all different kinds of animals. And like they give you a whole, like what the what they stand for, where they come from. It's just a bunch of different animals. I love this page, the hummingbird. So it's really pretty. So I chose this one because I don't know, it just spoke to me. And like I said, I did the whole background here in glitter pens because I wanted to use a different medium, but I have the stag and the moth to do here, and I'm going to be doing them with pencils. So I thought today's video would be a great way to show you how I color deer. I don't know, I just thought it would be fun. And then because I already did all the background coloring with the glittered and metallic gel pens, we'll get to see a finished page if I ever shut up and get to it. So I have one Prismacolor because my set of Black Widows does not have a dark brown. So I have dark brown here by Prisma. My Black Widows, I have Mushroom, I have Rusty, I have Fawn, I have a white here in Faber-Castell because I don't have a white in either set. Oh, I lied. I have one more Prismacolor here. I'm sorry. And this one is Seashell Pink. I don't know what that word is, but over here it's Seashell Pink. And then, of course, I have a blending pencil. So these are kind of the colors that I'm going to be working with. I'm going to be mixing my pencils. And I'm going to be using the colors that I use in our deer, our stag, whatever you want to call it, our buck. I'm from Pennsylvania, so these are bucks. Up here in the moth as well. So I'm going to shut up now, and we're going to do this. So I'm going to zoom in. Zoom in here. Alrighty, and we're going to get busy. So I'm going to go in with some of my darkest colors, which of course will be the dark brown, that's my Prisma, and this rusty color here, which is my Black Widow. So we're going to go in with our dark brown, like I said. I'm sorry that you guys couldn't see that. And we're going to drop in our shadows. I'm using a very light hand here. We're doing this all underneath his neck, kind of like where the artist put in a defining line, if you will. So we're just going to bring in very rough. Very light hand so that it can blend. And I have found that Black Widows and Prismas blend actually quite well. It's actually kind of shocking because Prismas they're a little bit more pigmented, and my Black Widows are a little bit more buttery, but they do blend. They do blend quite well. So I do like to mix them. I really don't have any different other pencils. I mostly use Prismas and Black Widows. I do like I have two Faber-Castells. I have white and red, and I do like them. So I think I'd like to get more of those. So I might build up a little set of those. But I primarily use my my Prismas and my Black Widows. And I really do like how my Black Widows are very buttery. So again, I'm just kind of going in and deepening shadows in places where I feel like there would be shadows. And I definitely feel like there would be shadows here because this is kind of where your little bit of indentation would take place on the deer's face, which will help something that looks very, that's a very flat picture pop off and look a little bit more three-dimensional, if you will, because deer have kind of like a muzzle. So I'm just kind of going in with a very light hand so that we get a nice blending going on. Doing some small circles. We will be using this color in a heavier hand in a different way after we get some of the lighter colors in, because the artist has given us some fur. It looks like fur, and we'll kind of go in with a flicking technique with our darker pencil to do that. But for right now, we're just kind of going in and we're darkening all of the places where there should be shadow, basically. And a lot of times, so that my hand stays soft, I use a circular motion. That also helps the blending technique as well. If you use a circular, if I turn this, I just need to turn this so for my hand. If you use that circular motion, a lot of times it makes blending much easier. And for me, it keeps my hand soft, which is important. And then I'm going to do just a little tiny bit underneath the eye here. Very, very light. Very, very light. So I hope everybody's new year went well. It is now 2024. I have quite a few new adventures I'd like to take in my coloring with new mediums. I want to explore with some things that I have never used before, like glossy accents. I'd like to use metallics and glitter more. I've never used glitter pops. I think it's called a glitter pop pen or something like that, or no, a sparkle pop, I think is what they're called. I've never used those. I would really like to experiment with some new mediums in this new year. So that's always exciting. So like to try to color new artists this year. New artists in different coloring books. I primarily stick with the ones that I really, really like. And I don't kind of venture out of that. Okay, I think we have a pretty good start. I don't know, maybe just a little tiny bit above the eyebrow. And then like right here, I think where the antlers kind of come out, I think we're gonna need a little bit of a shadow there so that you get that depth of facial structure. Give him some eyebrows here. And again, I'm keeping with a very light hand, and I'm doing that circular motion so I don't go too heavy. And then I think like right in here, and I'm gonna go a little bit up into the antler. Right in here, some circular motion. And like I said, I'm gonna overlap right into the antler as well. All right. Alrighty. All right. Okay, I think we have a good start there. So our main colors for him are definitely going to be our dark brown, our seashell pink, and I think it's the fawn, because I'm going to be using the mushroom and the rusty for his antlers, and of course some white. So with our fawn color here, we're going to go in and we're going to buff up with circular motions our shadow. And then on the lightest part of the deer, we're going to be using this seashell pink. I know that sounds really weird, but when you see this color go down, you're going to understand why I chose to use it. But we're going to keep with our shadows here first. So again, I'm going over where we put it, and I'm going to buff it up a little bit higher. And I'm still doing the same thing with a light hand and using that circular motion. We're just buffing out our shadows. And we're going to do the same thing here. And then in some spots, I'm not going to put any, so to speak, color. I'm going to be using the white there because white-tailed deer, or stag, if you will, they have a lot of white in their face. So we'll be doing that. I've seen quite a few of these little buggers in my day living in Pennsylvania. I see a lot of them here in New Jersey. There isn't very many hunters. In PA, they actually give you the day after Thanksgiving for the first day of season to hunt. So I have seen a lot of these in my lifetime. So I know they have quite a bit of white in their face. So I'm going to try to remember to leave those spots. Most of it is around their eyes and their muzzle. So we're going to try. So right now we're just buffing out our shadows with the darker color here, which again, I think I told you is fawn in our Black Widow. Just kind of bringing that shadow forward a little more because we're going to go in with an even lighter color, and then that lighter color then will transfer to white. So you're just strengthening your shadows. And they have a lot of white in their ear. So I'm going to bring this fawny color down here in the center. But we're going to mostly leave this part of the ear like whitish. We might go in with some gray, some light gray. I might pull out some light gray. But for the most part, the insides, the fluff, the tuft, if you will, of their ears are white. So we're just going to use just a little bit to buff it out. Our shadow here. And then right in that center portion of their ear where that hair all gathers. But for the most part, the insides of their ears are white. They're very stark, actually, very pretty. When they look at you and they flick those ears forward, that starkness of the white is actually very, very pretty. And then we're going to buff out by the corner of their mouth here, by their nose. Bring it down here to their chin. Okay. All right, I'm liking it so far. And then in here, we're gonna begin to bring some of this down as well. I'm gonna buff some of this shadow down into here. And we're going to be using a blending pencil as well. But we gotta get our layers down. And remember not to press too hard, because you don't want to destroy your grain of your paper before you finish putting all of your colors in. So try to be as light as you can. All right, I'm gonna very, very, very lightly go in this portion, very, very lightly, because this is more of the whitest portion of your deer, stag, whatever. I'm trying very hard to make him realistic. Sometimes it's fun to color unrealistic. I have such a hard time with that. Does anybody have a hard time coloring unrealistically? I really do. I really struggle. I want to, though. I want so badly to kind of go out of the box with stuff. I have such a hard time, especially when it comes to like people and animals. I always like want to make them look realistic as I can, but I want to have more fun. I want to be a little bit more free and all of that. I think in the back of the book, this picture is there. It is, look. And like they gave, like, that is so cool. I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to do that kind of stuff. But today our little guy here is going to be as real as possible. So now we're going to go in with our seashell pink. We're going to begin to buff this out all the way here, except for in the places that I want to keep white. See, that doesn't really translate as pink at all. It translates, I guess, like a seashell, if you will. It's a little deeper than a tan. I'm not sure how well it's translating on camera. Let me look. It's a little darker than it translates here on camera, but it's definitely a beautiful color, and it's not pink like you think. Even though it says seashell pink, it is not pink. And then we'll darken the fur up with our flicking technique so that it looks more like fur, because deer, stags, whatever you want to call them, they're not this light. They can be, but they're usually a little bit darker. Then we're going to go in with the same color, and we're going to bring that all down here into behind the mushrooms here. And then we're going to go into his ear just a little bit on the outskirts a little with this seashell pink. Just a little bit on the outskirt here. So we primarily want to keep his ear white. Okay. Then I'm going to go in with the white Faber-Castell, and we're just going to strengthen up that white here very lightly. Again, I'm using that circular motion, trying to buff all that together. Blend maybe is a better word. Just like this. Okay. That looks good. Then we're going to go back in with our seashell pink. I think I kind of missed, no, not rust, that's wrong. As I'm looking at this, I think we really should have some shadow underneath his face here. Okay, yeah, that looks much better. That looks much, much better. All right, now we're going to go in with that seashell pink, and we're just going to kind of blend these together in certain places, but very, very lightly. I want more white to show than all these colors. But we're going to go over all of this with a blending pencil so that we can blend these colors better. Having such a light hand like this keeps you from, like, you get the harsh lines because you're not blending really, really hard. Just like up in here, we have very harsh lines. So that's why we're going to use the blending pencil. Okay, then I'm going to lay down some white so that when we blend, it doesn't take away a lot of that white. Okay. And then he has a lot of white up here in his eye, on the bottom here. And he has, most bucks have a very deep, very white muzzle. So I'm going to lay that white down so when we use the blending pen, you know, a lot of that color isn't transferred. And then I will deepen up his nose too. I will deepen up that black on his nose. So we're going to go in with our blending pencil. I'm going to get off that teal green though. There we go. Okay, so we're going to go in with our blending pencil. Make sure you guys can see. Yes. And I'm just going to begin to use circular motions to blend out our colors here. Kind of blend them together. And as you can see how it's darkening? And then there isn't these harsh lines. And again, I'm using a very circular motion, but I'm still not pushing really, really hard because I want to go in with a flicking motion after I blend these together to add in some depth of fur. But if I take all the tooth of my paper away, it's going to be very, very hard to put that color down. So I'm putting a little pressure, but I'm still being very, very gentle. And I'm using that circular motion again so that the colors come together, and see how it blends away that very harsh line. I love blending pencils. They're a gift to colorists. But I'm just going in very, very lightly. Like I said, I'm using that circular motion. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna go in with a little bit of this rusty color, which is my Black Widow, and I'm gonna go in with a little bit. I mean, when I say little, we're just gonna go in very little with some flicking motions, kind of where the artist has already put in some like fur, just to give it so he doesn't look so flat. So we're just gonna give it just a little bit of flicking, not much. And we're going to go in, we're going to deepen up that color, and we're going to bring in some flicking motions. It helps the deer not look so flat. Okay, we're gonna go over this again, but see how this looks very flat? This just textures up the deer. But we're gonna go over this again. Okay. Put some in here. And here. All right, and then we're gonna take that dark brown by Prisma. Okay, and we're gonna go, this is gonna go, I should sharpen this. Wait 1 second. All right. I think we are pretty good. I think that definitely gave him like a textured look. Now we're gonna work on the antlers, and for the darkest color for that, we're definitely gonna be using the Rusty, and we're gonna be using the Fawn. I'm gonna sharpen these, which is more of a reddish color, and we're definitely gonna be using that kind of like where your shadow kind of would be, like all in like the creases here. And there. And this one, we're gonna kind of follow the lines a little bit, and there definitely would be some darker color in here. Okay. And then there definitely would be like in here in our bend and over here. And we're just kind of following, again, it's like where the artist has kind of put the lines. Okay. All right, and then we're gonna go in with the Fawn. Did I use the Fawn or no? We're gonna go in with the Mushroom. Yeah, we're gonna go in with the Mushroom. All right. And we're gonna be very light and try to blend these up. Okay, as you just saw, I strengthened up some of the shadowing with our darkest dark brown pencil here. Then I went in where I would feel like there's some highlights you saw with the white Faber-Castell. Now I'm going to take our blending pencil and I'm just going to go over it very quickly, just kind of buffing everything together, just so we don't have harsh lines. But I think this looks pretty good. I like the rust color because then you get a different shadowing color than what we used on the Stag or Buck, whatever you want to call them, itself. So I really like that. I think this looks pretty good. We're just kind of blending those colors together. I like how the tips are lighter. They usually are. And I like that we use that different reddish color for the shadows. And then we darkened it up with that dark pencil. All right. So I think he looks, let me back you out a little. I think he looks pretty good. I think he looks like a pretty handsome stag. I think so, I think so. Now we're gonna use some of these same exact colors. I'm gonna use more of the rust color though in our moth. So I'm gonna zoom you back in. I might zoom you one more. There we go. For our little mothy guy down here. And I'm going to be doing this rusty color in the little parts that are outside the black. And I'm going to go in pretty hard because this is a smaller space. This is a much smaller space to color. So we just kind of want to like varnish, if you will, the paper the first shot. I'm not going to be doing a lot of layering in this because it's such a small space. And then we're going to go in here. I want that to stand out for our mothy friend here. And we're going to do his furry part on his back. This color as well. This reddish color. Okay. Then his little antlers, I think is what they are, his little antlers. We're going to do in that mushroom color. They're very light, and his head is usually very light. I actually picked one of these up last year in the summer. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that mushroom color on the closest part here to his body, because that is one of the darkest, quote unquote, colors. The second darkest. We're not going to use any of that dark brown on this guy. And we're going to do it here. And here. Okay. And here. All right, and then we're going to go in with our fawn. Okay, and we're going to do that here. We're going to go in a little, this color's a little lighter than our mushroom. We're just making him very easy, very simple. And then we're going to go in with that seashell pink. And we're going to finish him off. I thought about doing this little guy teal colors because teal is my favorite. But again, I've never seen a teal moth. So I was like, well, maybe we'll go kind of realistic with this one as well. Okay. Alrighty. I think you guys can kind of see the depths of that color. Isn't that beautiful? So pretty. All right, and then what I'm just gonna do is take a little bit of that rust color, and all I'm gonna do is strengthen up some lines. Not shadows, I'm just strengthening up some of the lines that came through in that rust color. Because he's pretty flat, so there isn't a lot of shadow there to work with, but we can strengthen up lines so that they don't look as flat. I think you guys can understand what I mean. He is pretty. All right. Yeah, see how that strengthened those lines? Oh, I think he looks good. Good, 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 good. Okay. Okay, I'll pull you guys back out. Alrighty. All right, there is our stag. I think he turned out pretty good. I like how realistic he looks. I love all this shimmer and sparkle and shine. Look at that. Just beautiful. So that is how I realistically color a stag. But again, you can be crazy and wild with things like this. I hope to do a lot more of that in 2024. Like, I want to do stuff like this where my stag is all different colors. I want to do more of that, but I decided to color him more realistic today. And I don't think he turned out that bad at all. I actually really like how that looks. So that's a finished page in a book that I have never touched. This is the first page colored out of this book. There's some really pretty pages to color in here, so I'm excited to color more in here. But we got one page done and I'm happy with it. So thanks for joining me today, guys. I hope you got some tips and techniques on how to color realistically a deer, and enjoy coloring your own coloring pages. And thank you for giving up a portion of your day to spend it with me. It really makes my day. And I'll be talking to you all very soon in the next video. Until then, take care of you. Bye, sparkles.